Okay, everybody, I think we're gonna sit down and get started,
Okay,
if that's okay with you guys. If not,
too bad.
it's still a democracy, I say. So welcome, everybody, and thanks for coming out. And in fact, this time of the year, from Thanksgiving to New Year's, there's a lot to be thankful for. The people the friendships you develop, the groups you're part of and stuff. And so and I'm not a minister, I don't play one on TV. However, the concept of just being happy about the little things and being thankful, I think is a great thing. Do we have any new visitors? Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the people we haven't seen for a while and welcome them back. So, thank you very much. Is it okay if I say thank you?
Oh,
Tell everybody hi.
Chris, and I haven't seen you all for a while, and I'm glad to be here.
All right.
Welcome.
Okay, great. So hello and thank you, et cetera, et cetera. And again, a reminder, if your email address has changed, your phone number has changed, please don't hesitate to let our treasurer know. If you haven't paid your dues, we won't come looking for anything like that, but I will make that friendly reminder. If you have need name tags, we have a list of name tags up here at the front of the room.
Should we just read them off?
Sure.
We have name tags, and if we read your name,
If I slaughter your name, please forgive me in advance. Mike Hubbard,
Mark Huber.
see? It's Mark.
Mark.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Change my name.
Who?
They slaughtered your
He's a
name.
brother from another mother. Hey, Steve Smith. Megan Missman.
Megan.
Award show.
I don't think Megan's here.
Okay. Dan,
You're in.
Dan Schwartz.
Dan Schwartz.
Boy, they're all.
Yeah.
Okay.
For like a high school principal,
Graduation. You are now officially.
Sheila Specker. Wow, nice.
Oh, yeah, pretty good.
Now watch the old leave.
Okay, thank you.
And I found this valuable coffee mug after last meeting. Does anybody remember, is it theirs? It's a Lifetime Fitness and it's a nice new one.
Maybe that person's lost too.
That could be Tiffany, she works there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
okay.
all right.
And any other things that people have left behind, memory, shoelaces, sorry, I couldn't read this that way. We're gonna move on to the secretary's report.
Secretary's report was fine. There were no additions or corrections, so it's good.
Excellent. And then the treasurer report. And good.
I have the treasurer's report because Tom couldn't be here today. The beginning balance was $3,975.25. There were expenses for a new membership says $25 and NorthStar banner $192.63 for total expenses of $217.63. That leaves an ending balance of $3,757.62. And I have a check for $240 to give Tom. I was going to give it to him. That's from the Woodcraft meeting, but he's not here.
He's not here, but
So we'll try to get it to him some other way.
Excellent. Any additional comments about the treasurer's report? Volunteer organization ND Plus, that's a good thing, right? Okay, moving on, TLC report. Roger, do you have anything you want to share with us?
We took in 117 cars last month. We're at 1,783 for the year. Paintables for the year, we took in 395 last month. We're up to 1,941, which is just fantastic. I started out, let's hit a goal of, 2,000 cars. Well, I think we're gonna make it, because we've got cars out in the car now. And and then we're gonna start on the gnomes for Easter. If you've got empty space, which you should have on the piece, put like the clover leaves is what he wants, or bunny rabbits or anything like that, so we use up as much of it as we can. So,
What are you talking about? Put clover leaves on the gnomes?
no.
Have your waist cut off.
Cut out your gnomes and then what do you have left
Oh,
over?
scrap, I'll do the scraps.
Yeah, just like at the Christmas ones, I was able to put stockings in there.
Okay,
And try to use up as much as you can, so we don't waste a lot of it. So,
okay, excellent.
So do you have a gnome pattern for Easter?
yes, I do. It's on the back. I also brought a pattern for the card. Somebody was asking last month, they wanted the pattern for the card.
That was me.
Yeah, it's back there. So we, on the outside, we put 2 pieces of cedar. They have the number on it. The pine is in the middle piece. Then they're glued together. So that's how they want it.
The cedar is 1/2 inch and the pine is 3/4.
Right. 5/8.
And for people who might be dyslexic, you gotta work real hard not to mess up the numbers, but you'll do it once.
Yeah, we've had quite a few. I mean, you gotta check the numbers. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and, the wood that we get, if you just gotta be cautious of it. Like I got 3 boxes. I got the 7's going one way, the middle piece, and then the 7's going the other way. So when I put these cards together, I grab this one, and this one together. And they're right. So I got 3 boxes I put them in.
They don't make any sense.
So you
And then
said,
check them when you get done. That would really be appreciative.
Before you blow.
before you go.
Yeah.
Oops, okay. We're gonna move on to club updates, and I think we have a number of updates. I'm gonna start with John Engel, because he has some information to share with us.
Oh, just quickly back, let me get the thing and pass it around, but, back in 2020, I was down at Julia Roberts' studio and her husband gave me a bunch of her books. They made these in the 90s and they had a bunch of extras. And he said, bring them to your club. Well, we didn't meet for a year. We didn't meet for a year in person and I forgot about it. So here they are. I'll pass this around. If you're interested in, there are these fretwork patterns. There's one on, well, there's 4 different ones here. She probably had 10 different ones, I think. We'll send this around and we'll have a drawing before we break here. So if you're in, fine, but yeah.
Should we pass that around?
Sure.
Send it around.
Just pass them around and everybody take a look at it.
So while we're passing books around and people are putting their names in the bucket for a drawing, let's move on to tips of the day and or other information, because again, a couple different people have stuff to share. I want to start out with what is a real tip, but it's a boring thing to do, but a reminder, and that is, it's cold outside, and for those of you who have garage shops, it is absolutely the time to do that boring maintenance so rust doesn't become a resident member in your tool chest with stuff. And again, it's a boring job, I agree, but it's a necessary job, and the sooner you do it, the less the problem you have. And for those of you who may run into a few things of rust, I recently found the WD-40 makes a rust remover that works like magic. And it's really easy, even for those of us who are colorblind, and I'm not colorblind, but just so you know, because it's a clear liquid, you put stuff in it, and it turns black. And then you take it out, rinse with water, and then you go ahead and put whatever of the various things you might want to do to protect metal surfaces. So that's one tip. I'm gonna move on to Carl. He has some stuff to share.
We were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier. Roger, when we were doing the gnomes, Roger mentioned that when you're cutting the base, that he just would cut it with a dado blade, and then he just put them in there. But as I was doing that, I was unable to get all the yellow glue out of there, and it was visible. Roger said that there's a translucent stuff, and I'm going like, really? So I went out and looked, and I found this Tight Bond translucent. And so I'm still kind of new playing with this thing, but it's really pretty slick. It does dry clear.
Yeah,
And so, I mean,
Been
it's-
using it for a long time.
I didn't know that it existed. So I figured, I wonder how many other people didn't know that it is, or didn't know as well that this did, yeah, that didn't exist. So, you know, you might wanna try that if you wanna try to, you know, hide those glue lines and the smudges and spots, places that hard to clean it up.
was that at Menards or Home Depot?
I ordered this on Amazon,
Oh.
you know.
Yeah, you
I
get it
just
at
said,
Menards, and also they've got one that comes in a gray bottle that's transparent as well.
Yeah,
I couldn't find it on their
That's at
website.
Menards.
Yeah, I couldn't find it on their website, so I didn't bother going there. I just started searching, and I found, I
I
bought
get mine
it.
from Rockwood. I
Yeah.
just order it from Rockwood. They have it on the website. They don't have it in the store, but they have it on the website.
Yeah, so, anyway, that was my tip.
So, is everybody here on Rockler's mailing list? So one of the benefits of being on the list, even though junk mail is annoying, is the fact that on a routine basis, they send out discounts, coupons. So like right now, they have and if you go into the store, oftentimes, there's a flyer in the store with the coupon. And so there's a 20% discount coupon. And fortunately, because the people who work there are also woodworkers, they don't always collect the coupon. They may often give it back to you. So just another little tip to stretch your hard-earned dollars or the inheritance money that you're spending if your kids won't get it either. Put it in your perspective. Okay, any other, there was some other patterns in the back of the room?
Yeah, so, there's some patterns back there, but there's also some books. Somebody reached out to me through the NorthStar Scroller email out on our webpage, right there, and contacted me and says his arthritis was getting so bad that he couldn't cut anymore. He needed carving as well as scroll sawing. He says, I'd like to find a home for the magazines. So I got the magazines. I took some of them, including a back issue, which is, you know, part of one of my cuts there. But I've got a bunch of other stuff that I looked through and said, I'm not interested. So all that stuff back there, all these books and magazines and patterns, stuff like that, they're up for grabs. So go ahead and grab them if you want them. Otherwise, they're gonna go home and I don't know what to do with them then.
File them.
So, one other quick comment I'd like to make. I don't know how many of you guys read the newsletter for detail. Sometimes I have to read it a couple of times for detail because the first time is just not enough. And I just want to compliment both Carl and Tiffany for doing an absolutely fabulous job of pulling together a lot of stuff, which I know has to be labor intensive because oftentimes they're taking notes and pulling this, that together, and it flows into a newsletter that's full of useful information, nice summaries, so forth and so on. And I know that's a lot of work, okay? So again, I want to say thank you to Carl, he's here. We'll take, next time we see Tiffany, tell her that too, because we know there's a lot of energy going into that newsletter, you know, and I think most of us would appreciate from time to time somebody telling us thank you. So on behalf of the organization, I'm gonna say thank you. You know, if you walk up to Carl and say thank you, you'll see him break into a big smile, so forth and so on. So you can do that.
Speaking of,
Go ahead.
the website. I don't know how many people go out to the website. This kind of also applies to Roger. I don't know if you guys can see me on there. Did I get the angle correct? Okay, this website's got a lot of information up here. Of one of which is under file shares, we have TLC toy patterns. So I, like with the gnome pattern that Roger had, what I did is I cut it out, and I refined the pattern on the paper, and then I, actually took pictures of it assembled and put that together in a PDF. So you'll have that underneath, it would have been Christmas up at the top. So, and I'll do the same thing with this gnome pattern. So just know that these things here you can get to through the file share. These patterns will be up there. The other thing that I'm working on is the discount pages, and I don't know if people know that. Paul Sievers reached out to me and said that he went to Forest Product Supply and tried to get a discount, and they said, we don't offer it to the guild or to the NorthStar Scrollers, but they do to the Woodworkers Guild. So I contacted them, as well as Acme, to verify that. I've yet to hear about Acme, but Forest Product Supplies, they finally got back to me and said, you know, they talked to the owner, and the manager there says, yeah, we'll give you a discount included on hardwood, exotics, and domestic wood. So what I'm starting to do is that I had a list of other ones, but I've been going through, this is the Woodworkers Guild. So I've been starting to go through this page here and looking at stuff that might be of interest to us. Blades, sharpening, things like that. So I'm starting to contact some of these places and see if they'll give us the same discounts that the Woodworkers Guild is doing. So if you ever find something in here and you're not a guild member and there's something that you really are interested in getting a discount on, one of the ones that I thought would be also another one besides the blade sharpening, I have these products. RZ masks. I have some of their masks. They're really comfortable to wear. So if you're really concerned about, you know, inhaling all that fine sawdust, I'd like to be able to get a discount from them as well and put it onto our page. So there's a variety of things that I'm starting to chase and doing that. And you talk about time consuming. It's a lot of calling people and emailing and whatever else. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
just want to let people know.
And if you're curious, Forest Products has a lot of neat cutoffs and one-off pieces, because they do, you know, obviously commercial work. And people put in exotic requests for them, and next thing you know, this rare piece of wood, just what you're looking for, and it's taking up space. So they give, you know, and if you like to haggle, it's like, really, who else is gonna come in here and buy this? You're right, here you go, and they give you a decent price, so.
Well, but it says this does not include hardware, plywood, and shorts. So,
I don't know what they said define shorts, because I know when you go into the room, they have a whole wall and a bin full of different cutoffs.
right, I think that's shorts.
Right.
Usually, but
It's worth the trip if you're interested. If you're not interested, move on with your day. Go ahead.
Bill, you think we should take 5 minutes and let people get some food? And
Absolutely,
then we'll continue the meeting?
absolutely.
what, are you hungry?
Yeah,
Katie's been hungry since she walked in, but that's okay. So
yeah,
please.
let's get started here.
Yeah, and again, thank you, everybody, for being so generous to take care of each other. So I think that's a great thing.
Sorry, I don't know if you guys want to hang out and wait till we get back and start the meeting again, but I'll keep it going.
Okay, we're gonna get started here in a second. Please feel free to continue to eat, because I'm sure the people who brought stuff would prefer not to take it back home.
Right.
So, you know, nobody's going to be offended if you continue to smile and eat, so please do. And before we start, show and tell, is this okay?
Yep, that's great.
In the right position, Savannah? Okay. Before we start show and tell, one other semi-important thing to talk about. Roger shared with me that Rockler in Maplewood would like us to do a class.
Oh, just a demo.
A demo, okay, sorry. And we're looking for volunteers. So if that's something that interests you, you don't have to tell me now, but you can certainly tell Roger, or you can tell me, or you can email me or anybody else. But we're looking for a few good men and women.
I'll go.
Okay, so thank you. You the man?
This is the one in Maplewood?
Yes.
Yeah, we've done it before,
Yeah,
you
we
know.
have, we've been there.
Get several saws in there and just cut away.
Yep, it's
These
kind of
people-
fun.
It is, it's
really
kind
is.
of fun.
People come through and talk with you, and they're amazed and friendly.
And I think it's a credit to the organization that you're giving classes at both Rockler and Woodcraft.
Yeah,
And both organizations respect the organization and ask you to come back. And that's kind of like house guests. How many house guests do you ask to come back, right?
It's a good way to, you know,
You have dates yet?
get our bigger membership as well.
What
You have
day is
dates?
that?
I told him any weekend except for the 17th. I can't do it that weekend,
Oh, 17th of what?
January.
Oh,
January.
So he hadn't set a date yet.
No, we haven't set a date yet, but Pat contacted me when I was there, and he said they'll advertise it and stuff, so we should get back to him, and,
Pick a date and let us know.
yeah,
January.
yeah.
we'll get a bunch there.
Is there anybody here that can go to Rockler or Woodcraft, walk in and walk out without spending money?
Why would you go there without, without buying something?
You walk around aimlessly till you find that thing that calls your name, okay? I'm guilty too. It's like, I mean, I got stuff I've never used. Why did I buy it? Because it was a good deal. Or I read an article and it caught my attention, so I'm just saying. So for those of you who feel that way, you're not alone. Okay, we're gonna move on to show and tell.
I can start.
Please do.
So Carl's gonna bring up some slides that I made for an awkward demonstration here. And I just want you guys to think about 5 years ago, where were you in December of 2020? Were any of you coming to meetings? Were any of you wearing masks? That was the pandemic, remember that?
We're trying not to.
So I joined the club, I think it was in the winter after that, like February, March or something of 2021. And you weren't having your meetings, so I just got to know you by seeing your face on the computer. And decided it would be a fun group to join. And so I'm going to be showing something that I got to make as a result of meeting Ray Tuma, you know him. And we weren't having meetings, but he invited us to come to his farm, and he had a whole barn full of materials to give out that we could pick up, and I suppose some of you took part in that. I went over with Mike, and I really pulled out as much mahogany as I could out of there. We packed up a car with all that and brought it back to our home. One of those things I found there at Ray's place was a big plank of mahogany, and it was a 2x12, 4 feet long. It was just massive.
It'd be a fortune to buy that.
Yeah.
That was a big piece of nice wood.
So he goes, you know, where I got that mahogany from, I don't know if you would know the story, he said, he must have been some kind of a craftsman or woodworker. He said, I restored these Red Lobster restaurants. And that's where we put in a lot of the mahogany wood for all the trim in there. And the cutoffs and the extra pieces, he just brought back to his barn and in there.
That's where that came from, Red Lobster?
Red Lobster, I remember him telling us that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
So today I'm not going to talk really about a scroll saw project to start with, but I think all of us do other kinds of woodworking too. So I like to look at magazines. You can turn to the next page. And I especially like fine woodworking, and they have such great ideas in there. And here I have this plank sitting in my house, leaning on the wall, and I know I want to make a shelf out of that plank. It's so solid that it needs no support except something at the ends. Because that, as you know, when you make a shelf and put heavy things on it, it's going to sag. Well, this wood is so thick and heavy, it would never sag. So I said, well, how can I do that? I need a shelf that's at least 13 inches high because I want to put big books under there. And then I saw this article. And this article showed you that you can put on a leg on a table. This guy's putting legs on a big plank just using 3/8" steel rods like this. And then he epoxies that to the leg. And so you can go to the next page. So I thought, you know, this has got to work. with my big plank. So here you can see I've got that big plank that I got from Ray. And the other thing I do is I scavenge out of their dumpsters because we're in an apartment and people, it's ridiculous the things they'll throw away. They'll throw away perfect bookcases. They'll throw away oak. They'll throw away maple. And you just go there, whoa, look at that wood. Well, the other piece of wood you see lying there, lying down, that was from a school. We had a bookshelf. It was must have been 42 inches tall. And those pieces were 16 inches wide. So I knew those would be perfect ends for my bookshelf. So what I did is I took 2 of those and glued them together to make a 1.5 inch end panel for my shelf. The tricky thing with this is how do you think you get those steel rods perfectly perpendicular, and they have to go about 1.25 inches into the plank and 1.25 inches into your other piece of wood. So it has to be perfectly perpendicular, lined up, and it's not a through and through, so you can't just drill it straight through all the way. You have to drill one way into the one side, then one way into the other side, and then when you put them together, they have to match, or you're in trouble.
Good luck.
So here's another piece of, I made this as a template, my drilling template, and I made these, drilled these holes on a nice drill press that was 90 straight, and then I marked it so that I knew which side, because I'm going to have to put it down on the plank, and then I have to put it up on the other piece so that it's the same hole that meets. And I had a little, around here, I screwed on a little edging so that when I put it on, it would always be in the same spot. I'd clamp it down when I was drilling.
Wow.
And I don't know if you've ever worked with the other thing I learned on this project is how to work with a stop on your hand drill, because I was doing this with a hand drill then. And that's sort of a neat thing to learn too. You can take a dowel and you can drill through that dowel with the actual drill bit you're going to use, drill through it, and then you figure out what length you need to make that dowel so that when you're drilling, it will stop before you come through the other side of your board. So that was sort of a neat thing to learn. Okay, you can go to the next. And then, to put these together, you use epoxy, and this is called, it's a structural epoxy, T88. It's supposed to be good for this kind of thing where you're putting metal and wood together. And it has a pretty nice setting time of about 45 minutes. So it's not like when you put it together and, oh, I got it quick, it's going to be hard. You have 45 minutes. And you want to get it nicely on that whole area between the tape. And also you want to get it in the holes and on the rods. I tested these and I made sure, that they went down and they were going to go all the way down and everything. But I said, well, before I put the epoxy on, I'm going to try one more time and make sure these go down. And that board has to come up and go down, and it wouldn't go all the way down. It's like, what in the world happened here? So I figured out that I needed just to trim like 1/16 of an inch off of that board that's lying down on the table. And so I'm in my shop there. I see my nice shop. It's a living room. But I thought, you know what? I think a scroll saw can cut a nice, straight, thin little, and that worked. I cut them down 1/16 of an inch, and then they went down perfect. Except for one rod was about 1 millimeter too high.
Oh.
So I thought, oh, that one's not. So I measured them. That one was 1 millimeter. So I took it out and ground that off, and then it all work.
Wow.
So you can show the next slide. So here it shows doing the glue up. And I like using those right angle brackets to glue it so you know for sure it's at 90 degrees. And then I left it glued overnight. And by morning it was nice and solid. And it's very good to use painter's tape so when you squish out that epoxy, it doesn't get on your wood. Okay, next one. So this is where that project went. Judy and I love to do stamp collecting. It's sort of a ancient hobby, but we've done it since we were little kids. And we each had a collection, and we got all the collections of our grandparents, our parents, our sisters and brothers. So we have so many stamp books. So this is an old roll top desk, and that top plank up there was 12 inches wide. So I had made it so that these end brackets would come over it and sit like that so it can't jiggle on that shelf. Can go to the next one. So there's the finished project with all the stamp books up there.
Nice.
So that was a fun project.
Fun.
And I just have a couple other things here to show. So this one, I saw somebody else made this one too. So that was in the last Gosa magazine. And this was made out of a cabinet door that was sitting down in my basement for many, many years. I thought, well, this would be nice to make this. One goofy thing that happened when I made this is I thought, you know, I would like to try finishing this by dipping it. And I do most of my finishing with shellac. And I use the little chips, and I make my own shellac, and I make it pretty thin. I thin it down about 3 to 1. And usually you'll put a layer on, and you can just do like this, and it's dry in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Well, so I thought, well, I'm going to dip it so that it gets all down in these crevices, which worked. It looked really nice. But then I noticed by the end of the day, it was like this. It was warped.
No.
So I thought, oh dear, I'm going to have to throw that in the garbage. But then I thought, well, okay. It felt all dry and everything, and I put it in my bowl clamp and just clamped it, and I was waiting to hear it crack.
Yeah.
And it seemed to flatten it out. It looks good.
Wow.
Then, I'm like, Roger, I don't like to waste my wood. So when I'm making things, I was making those gnomes. Or actually, I think it was other Christmas trees, and there were all these places that were going to be thrown out. So we were having a party, and I said, well, let's give everybody a Christmas tree, not a big one, but I'll make them little ones. So I sized this pattern down to this big, and stack cut these, and they came out really nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my last thing is every year I do a card. You see me do these usually in the winter time. These go out to my family members. And this happens to be the pattern that Warren had last week from Judy Gale Roberts. I modified it because I didn't want the oval on there. And I made it just the bird with some extra branches. And that'll go out to all my brothers and sisters and others for their Christmas card.
Tell us how you do it again.
Oh yeah, so I take this 1/8 inch wood. This is just some junk wood, and then I put in 20 sheets of paper between this, and then I can stack cut 20 cards at a time.
Thank you. Next.
Pam's ready. I'm needed.
So all of you probably know I'm really new to scroll sign, so I wasn't going to bring anything because I don't have wonderful projects like this, but as Alan said, I can't expect my first project to be the Last Supper in Tarja piece, so we all have to start somewhere. So for my birthday, I got a wonderful gift of a slightly used Hegner scroll saw. So a couple weeks ago, my first project I cut out with it was a little
Oh, that's
Yeah.
adorable.
and
That's
the
cute.
pattern I got from here.
Yeah.
And I know it called for different thicknesses of wood, but I only had the 1/2 inch on hand, so.
Yeah, nice,
And then second project for the reindeer. This was a Sheila Landry pattern, which I absolutely love. I love how you have the
Yeah.
full
Yeah, so cute.
horns on it. So I just added little ribbons. The downside was it was supposed to be out of a hardwood, and I was too lazy to run to the store, so we went to Menards and got cheap plywood. And unfortunately, the 1/4 inch is cutting out like the antlers. It started to chip, and we tried different things, and I recut, and it still just chipped. But it's a learning curve, and I'm looking forward to redoing them in a nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
cool.
job.
Those are nice.
All right.
This is the one I did. Put the year on here. 2012. She's 14 now. I don't know what she would have been about then, 2012. So 2 years old, I suppose. But anyway, I had this picture somebody took of us. This is our annual Christmas cookie. We do this every year. I think it's next week this year. Although I don't think she's too big now to sit on my lap. But anyway, when she was 6 or 7, she mentioned something about that picture. So I thought, man, that must have affected her somehow. So somehow I got to do more. So I have done patterns in the past, but I don't like doing it. I don't like sitting at the computer doing this stuff. So I went to, things falling apart. Charles Deering will do custom patterns. And so anybody's done any fretwork at all or used the magazines, Charles Deering has patterns there all the time. So you send him a picture and comes back with the pattern. He asks you how much detail you want, but I thought he caught it perfect. You know, you could tell it's me. And her, somebody asked, is that my grandson or you couldn't tell, but she knows. So I told her this is hers. At some point, she's 14, it's too early to give it to her. You know what 14 will be. Who knows what it'll be. So that worked out pretty good. Yeah, you send him the picture and how much detail you want, how big you want, and then he charges it for it, of course. But if you like doing the pattern, that's great. I don't. So I like cutting. I don't want to sit at a computer doing it. And so we had to do, I wanted it to fit this size of frame because it came bigger. And so he says, well, you can take it to Kinko's or somewhere, but then it's more complicated than that because, you shrink things, it gets distorted. So there's some, I got it in my, resize it, there's an app or something like that. And but he says, I'll just do it for you because it took him an extra day or so to give me the pattern he felt guilty about. that, so I'll just do it for him. So then he sent me the one to fit this one.
Yeah.
And I remember Mike saying years ago, get the frame first. So anybody who do this kind of thing, before you do all this work, have the board fit into a frame, because frames aren't the same.
Yeah.
And so, because you don't want to be on a table saw when you've got this all cut out. So anyway, I thought it came out
Cool.
neat and,
What kind of wood is that, John?
that is a,
Oak, yeah, looks like oak, looks like oak, yeah.
Hold that up here.
I don't usually use oak, but I have it and I thought it looked okay. And
There we go.
So how did you get a piece, so that's 1/4 inch thick on the
that
bulk?
is quarter, yeah.
So how did you glue 2 pieces, 2 1/4 inches together, or?
No, I don't think this is glued up. Oh, you can get oak with that width.
Yeah,
I had several. Somebody gave me 2 or 3 boards that they had left over, and they were at least that wide, yeah. And I planed them down or resawed it. I don't remember what I did. Yeah, I don't think this is a glue up, but I have glued them up. But this one I wanted to plane.
What's that, 11 and a half or 11?
Yeah, is that 14 or 18?
11, okay.
17,
Yeah,
I mean.
You can get 12 by 24 real easy.
You'll have to tell
Of
us.
oak.
Huh?
You have to tell us how, because I've never seen it. I know
Ooch
board wider than 12 inches.
Oh, yeah.
Ooch hardwood, sells
Yeah,
it
Ooch,
right off the internet.
Oak you can
Yep.
get. There's still big trees like that. It's
Right here,
and walnuts
right here.
You could get.
Some
of the woods are pretty hard to get that big.
no, I don't, it's not there, sorry.
Is there another question or somebody?
Thank you, John.
Quick comment about Acme Tools. They opened up a store in Egan. So they have a huge store in Plymouth off of, 694 Rockford Road, but now they have one in Egan. For those of you who may live in the south end of town.
OCO, yeah. That's it. OCO.
Okay. Thank you.
No, go.
Okay. He's already done it. Mine's just thinner than his. It's made out of hard maple.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
This was in scroll saw woodworking and craft last issue. It's just plywood. And this was out of scroll saw woodworking craft for quite a number of years ago. And I got a bunch of ornaments up here. This one came out of Pinterest.
Yeah. So,
Jeff, take the big one. Yeah, stand over here. If I get that in the background, it makes a terrible picture. Okay, very good, thanks.
You can't help that picture.
If you're standing in front of that, it doesn't
it
work.
doesn't care.
You get home and you don't have a picture.
As I mentioned, the one person that reached out and had a bunch of magazines, and I took some of the early issues. This is issue number 1, Scroll Saw Workshop.
Woodworking.
And I had seen this before, and I'd always liked this. And so now that I had the issue, I said, okay,
I'm gonna make that.
I gotta do it. So I did this. It was a lot of fun to cut it. Again, I'm using a spiral blade. I got a bunch of Pegas, different size Pegas spiral blades, the modified geometry spiral blades. It left just a trail of fuzzies.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with an X-Acto knife and little files to get the fuzzies off of it. And then I had done a rabbit, and I showed this last year sometime. The frame I had just had a little bit of background. And it just didn't seem right when I saw this magazine, he had a lot more border on it. So I took and I added another border, and that in itself was just not enough, so I then made the frame to go with it. And I think it just makes it stand out a little bit. My son said, oh, I think you know, put a frame along here too, and it might, I don't know, I might play around with that, but, you know, anyways, I thought this turned out really well. And then this guy, this pattern, Gary, what is his name? Gary Browning. One out of the magazines, there were also some books, and one of the books was a Gary Browning book on portraits, how to create portraits from pictures. But also then at the end, it had famous people and all that stuff. And so I started cutting this one here. This is actually cut number 2.
Is that Frank?
That's Frank, and blue eyes. This is cut number 2. The first time I cut it, I didn't realize it. It had, when I got done, it had these streaks of brown right through here. It looked really pretty crappy. And so I said, oh, well, let's try that again. During this time though, I found something that was interesting. I got to play around with it again. When I was using the Pegasus blades, and they were just like leaving all these fuzzies. And I had some Olson blades, number 4, spiral blades, and I picked one up and started using it, and it was cutting really well, but it was leaving a lot of fuzzies. Well, I broke that blade shortly after I started doing it, and I put in another one, and it was leaving. The paper was just ripping to shreds here, but it was leaving absolutely no fuzzies on the back side of it. And I went, really? So I took that blade and flipped it upside down, and sure enough, it was making it really nice. It cut the fuzzies, when it cuts the paper, it leaves all those fuzzies on there. It's really hard to see the lines, you know, and see how well it cut. But it was not, it was just, you know, it was cutting really smooth out one way, and then the other, but leaving fuzzies in the back, and then when it reversed. So there is a directional of those spiral blades, right? So I'm still playing around with that. So I got to go play around with that more to find out why that is and is there a way to do that?
Well, isn't a spiral blade just twisted?
Well, that's just it. I know. I figured there was no up and down, but I really discovered that one way I was leaving the fuzzies up here, but nothing below, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So,
If it's a reverse tooth blade and you get it too far up, you'll get that because the teeth are pointing this way.
but it's a spiral blade.
Right, but they sell spiral blades that way
They
too.
do sell some spiral blades that have
That are
reverse
reverse
tooth
tooth.
on the
So
bottom.
if your reverse tooth is coming through the top of your thing, it's gonna come up.
Yeah.
The transition isn't where it needs to be, you need to move the transition, what you're saying.
Well, so that's probably why it's leaving those
Because I've
fuzzies up
done
on the
that
top.
before, because I use a lot of reverse tooth blades.
Right. So I just dealt with the paper being shredded to daylights, and just, you know, I'd kind of run by the lines again just to clean it up, just to see how it's doing. But it left very few fuzzies on the backside, which made the cleanup, because the paper helped eliminate some of the fuzzies on the front side. And then with no fuzzies on the backside, it was a lot less work, you know, trying to clean this up. And I didn't finish this because I'm still cleaning a little bit of those fuzzies and stuff off of it. But that's, you know, Frank to go next to Duke.
What size was your spiral blade?
It was a number 4. The Pegasus, I had a 2/0. For some reason on my Pegasus saw, I'm just breaking the crap out of the 2/0s. And I have not.
So much, don't put so much
I
attention.
put some slack in it, I'm still breaking. So I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, but I've got 3s and 5s. I was using a 5 on this thing here for the Olson was number 4. Which seemed to work, you know, with all the thin lines and stuff like that. And I tell you, was I moving slow around here? You know, you get all this done and then you break the hat.
Oh, no.
Right through it.
But no, it worked, so.
There we go.
Figure out what you can hide it.
Well, this little thing is, we'll leave it away from the good stuff of the fretwork. We'll leave it over this end. And this is my attempt at doing some fretwork. And needless to say, I'm not gonna pick it up. It's in two pieces, so. My attempt at, like I said, doing fretwork, so.
That's really cute.
We did a little bit of little sandalwood. Not on 4th of July stuff, because we're done with that. So this is my attempt at doing the Christmas stuff.
Good job.
Looks like everybody.
Nope, that ain't it.
Here you go, Steve. Is that everybody?
I mean, to take a
Do this drawing. I don't have my name in there, so I'll just, is there still something here?
Oh, I got one thing, but go ahead and have the drawing.
We'll save you for
Sure.
the grand finale.
Okay.
Well, I don't have my name in here, so I'll draw quick. So we'll do a quick choice. There's 4 different kinds here. You guys saw them. And the first winner is Warren. So come on up and grab them. We'll just keep going. Chris Gaffney.
Yay.
You gotta wait for Warren. And we have Katie.
Oh, my God.
You gotta dig farther down.
Oh, I knew if I.
Katie, wait a minute. And we have Mike Evans, Jay Evans. Oh, back there, okay. Okay, enjoy it. Hopefully it makes some.
They're all fretwork, but I probably
Okay.
wouldn't do it, to be honest.
Well, then we'll draw another one.
See this on there.
We're gonna,
Then you're ready for a picture.
we got one more, I guess. Chris doesn't do fretwork.
Yeah.
She don't like drilling
Sleep on
holes.
you, you might have to dig
Re-thread her
that
foot.
on and off, but hopefully we'll just.
Mark Huber.
All right.
You can just take a picture.
That was probably. Oh, I like this one. Very cool.
Okay. Well, I decided to finally get busy out in the garage. It was too cool to be working outside, but at least still warmed up so I could warm up the garage. When it gets to about 0, you don't want to open that door and try to heat things up again. So the next door neighbor girl, she's about 8 years old, and she wanted one of these crosses. So I said that her birthday is on December 10th, so I had to hurry up and get that done. So that's next week. So I think she'll like that.
Yeah, that's nice. Beautiful.
And then gnomes are really popular this time of year. Everybody's making them. I decided I would make one.
Cool.
So I looked around, finally found sort of a design on Steve Good's website there, and then I kind of modified it a little bit. Anyway, it wound up to be a female gnome, and you know, every good gnome should have a name. You know, a gnome should have a name. So I decided to name this Christy Gnome. That's terrible.
Say, Mike,
Roger.
I've got Baltic birch on my car. I got gnomes patterns on. Help yourself.
Can I name them?
Yes, you can name them,
Okay.
as long as you don't name them Sue.
Okay, any other questions, comments, contributions, wish lists? Okay, so
Thank all the officers, everybody's working for the club, putting in all their time, you know, this is a
thank you.
small number of people that do a lot of work.
and thank all of you guys, because I think it's a lot easier to do work if people smile when you're doing a presentation, and it seems like what you do makes sense. So again, as a reminder, Rockler, Maplewood, talk to Roger or send an email, but preferably talk to Roger so I don't have to get involved at all.
Either that or I'll just set a date and let you people know.
Okay. All right,
Well, is somebody doing the 3D presentation next month, or are people bringing stuff that they've done?
You're doing it, Katie. Be ready.
You read my mind. So next month's presentation will start with a 10-minute video on 3D cutting, to be followed by group participation discussion. And so we were sitting on the corner here having just a brief conversation. Next thing I know, 10 minutes later, we're still talking about lining up a blade for 3D cutting. So despite the simplicity maybe of the video, there's a lot of nuance. And so I'm going to ask, for those of you who have done 3D projects, please bring them in. And for the rest of you, please bring your questions, suggestions, comments, criticisms, because we all learn from everybody sharing. Because I can tell you, listening to the conversation about lining up a blade, I was like, what? You know, and although, as a reminder, 6 months ago, there was a conversation about the need for having a small tri-square that you could use to make sure your blade is aligned. So alignment's going to come up in this conversation, and other tips that each of you who've done various things can contribute. So that's just next month, but I can tell you, just to be clear, all the other following activities, and let me digress for 1 second and say, I've contacted a lot of people who claimed that they were willing to talk, but then they went radio silence when you send them an email, et cetera, et cetera. So for that reason, I don't advertise ahead of time till I really nail down particularly a speaker per se. But we do have stuff lined up, but what they all have in common are pretty straightforward projects that give everybody the opportunity to say, okay, now let me tell you the rest of the story, as a certain newscaster used to say. You know, and I certainly have learned in this group, there is the rest of the story to almost every single project. You know, as another side note, conversation was about sandpaper. You know, and how many people have used 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 grit sandpaper? That's probably another conversation for another time too. So, and that's kind of the wonderful thing that what happens here, which I enjoy, is everybody has something to contribute, and everybody, despite their level of expertise, still is learning something from everybody else contributing. So please, we need to honor that and hold on to that. So with that all being said, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, there's a rule, though, that you have to eat more food before you can leave. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Anybody needs wood, I've got it out there. Come and get it.
I think it's Mike's blades.
Bye, everyone.
I think it's Mike's that has the, they're supposed to be fuzzy-free viral blades. There is no such thing, but I have used them, and they're way less fuzzy. So it must be a reverse like you're talking about. I think it was Mike's.
Was this yours, John?
Probably. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna be signing off here. Have a good holidays and see you guys in January.